Hello, everyone, and welcome to our special AMA session with Kirti Yadav, hosted by Samayu. Right at the outset, I would like to take a moment to introduce Samayu to you. Samayu is a registered NGO in New Delhi and is a movement of people and organizations that care about the interconnected of animals, people, and our planet, working together to create a sustainable, just, and fair world for all. After 3 years of being on this journey, we currently have a coalition of 87 officially signed on NGO partners, institutions, and individual experts. Our growing Samayu community is working collectively on foregrounding the interests of animals and nature in their respective work areas of environment, climate change, public health, social justice, and animal welfare. Through a flagship initiative, Food and You 2.0, we empower individuals and communities to embrace plant based diets, promoting healthier living, animal welfare, and a sustainable planet. As part of our commitment to sustainability and well being, we are thrilled to host Kirti Yadav in today's AMA session. Now, I would like to tell you a bit about Kirti. She is a certified holistic nutritionist, the founder She is a certified holistic nutritionist, the founder of cookclean.com, and a passionate advocate for the transformative power of a whole food plant based lifestyle. She has spoken at Fortune 500 companies, conducted workplace wellness workshops, and is on a mission to inspire a plate level change for 1 million people by 2030. Without further ado, let's dive into this AMA to learn from Kirti's journey and insights. Thank you so much, Kirti, for joining us here today.
Thank you, Anusha. Thank you, Namrita. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Yes, you may start with your question, and I'm like, for 1 hour, ask me anything, and I'll answer them best to my knowledge and capability, whatever I've earned in all these 10 years.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kirti. Kirti, your transition to plant based lifestyle in 2014 is incredibly inspiring,
Thank you.
considering, considering Samayu's mission of creating a just and equitable world. How has your personal journey influenced your commitment to sustainability and ethical choices?
Okay, so let me begin from 2014. That's when my daughter was born, and I had a lot of complications during my pregnancy. That's when I started to focus on food as such. Not that I was a junk eater before, but still there was something missing that I wanted to figure out and what that thing is. So I got introduced to something called as plant-based lifestyle, and I started implementing it on myself. So this is what I tell all my clients and everybody who meets me is that you don't have to believe me or anyone else. You got to do it. For example, when you go to a new place, you experience that place. So similarly, this is a new lifestyle. Experience it for some time, maybe for a month, for 2 months, because honestly nothing is going to change so much in terms of that, your culture is hit or something, because a lot of people who are believing that I can't leave non-veg or I can't leave dairy. Even I was a heavy dairy eater. Okay, but all this while, even though I was consuming so much dairy, I had always the problem of constipation, migraine, headache, and my cholesterol was also increasing. Then my I had preeclampsia, which is basically high BP during pregnancy. So all this was happening. Now, should I say, is it just because of the dairy or was it the whole lifestyle? You cannot really put in one word to it. So then, when I started changing myself, when I started experiencing this new lifestyle, it started showing me results. So that's what I say to everyone, that please experience, please, give a try. That is most important. So when I tried it, I lost 28 kgs of weight over a period of course, I would say, few years. Because this, if you are trying to lose weight, 28 or 30 kg of weight in in a year's time or maybe in 6 months time, That's not sustainable. So you have to gradually lose. While you're losing, you that's one aspect of it. But what you need to focus on is that are your internal parameters improving, which is one is the medical parameters that you get after the lab test. But the simple parameters, are you able to sleep better? Is your mind becoming more calmer? Is anxiousness and anxiety coming down? Are you feeling less constipated? Is your migraine or headache? These are the simple symptoms which we get on day to day basis, for which we take over the counter medicine. So now, if these symptoms are improving, your gut is feeling better even after eating, you are not feeling bloated throughout the day. That means your health is improving. So now, if this lifestyle is helping you, then continue doing that. So that's what I did. I started walking on this path, became like truly, I started walking in 2017 18, when this was a transformation which happened, and it has really helped me. So ever since then, I am promoting plant based lifestyle. I am helping educating people on clean eating.
That's wonderful, Kirti. That's great. I'll move on to the next question. I was wondering, how did your journey as a new mother influence your focus on well-being and nutrition?
So, as a new mother, the whole focus shifted. Of course, it shifts to your child, right? You want to give the best. Every mother wants to give best to her child, and that's when I started experimenting. The whole focus was that I should focus on my child's health also. Whatever I'm eating, I should be it should be clean so that I can give it to her. And that's when I started getting introduced to all these traditional grains like millets and rice, which is not white rice but are red rice, and the dals which have with the skin different type of suppus. We call it suppus, right? Or in Bangalore, all the greens. So these
Mhm.
different kind of greens, because we only know two greens, which is methi and palak, but then there are so many varieties. So I started seeing them around. Then I started researching on them, and that's how the whole journey starts moving. So it's a journey. That's very important for all of us to understand, that not everybody is at the same level. You have to keep improving every single day. I have achieved all of this in 7 years of time. Somebody can achieve in 3 years of time, and the other person might take longer. So it's a journey for your own self, and you need to start it somewhere. Starting is very important. Most of us do not start because we are scared that what if this will happen, what all I have to leave. We are always thinking about what all we have to leave. We are also thinking about what all impact, the negative impacts it will have, rather than the positive impact. So you have to trust the process, go into the process, and then you will see difference happening to you.
Indeed, indeed. That is the way to go about it, I'm sure. Yeah. So I was very intrigued by your certification program. So can you elaborate on your experience with the holistic nutrition certificate program and how it shaped your approach to health coaching?
So in 2020, when COVID hit, of course, a lot of us were thinking our existential questions, what do I do next? So I was also going through that same phase that, okay, now I have lost weight, I have achieved my health goals, but then what next? Do I go back to corporate job, or do I, find something else? So that's when I started doing my nutrition course, which is, so again, one course is not enough. So I did multiple things. I reached out to, and also how in India we have this guru shishya parampara, which is more like you learn things rather than having the degrees and certificates. So I met a lot of my gurus who were teaching so intricate and so basics of nature care, plant based lifestyle, because I always used to think that okay, this veganism and plant based lifestyle is a very Western concept. So I started researching, are people in India doing that? Because if this is all a Western thing, then it can be a fad also. That's when I met a lot of people who are following, and their age is 80. That means they have followed it from past 40, 50 years. So it was always there. It's not a bad thing. Only thing is, now it's becoming mainstream and people are talking about it. So I have like 2 3 gurus who taught me. Then there are circle of people who are following this lifestyle, so I'm part of those groups. And then finally I did my certification from APPA, and then I also did few more courses, and I'm continuously doing those courses. Like every 2 years I upgrade myself. So right now I'm reading about menopause, because that's becoming a bigger issue among women who have crossed 40 or 45. So these are the things that we need to address, and addressal of them is not medicines. It has to do something with your lifestyle. So that's what my focus is. That my journey is still continuing. I'm still learning, I'm still reading, and I'm still every day trying to research to find new things which can help.
That's wonderful. That's great a way to go about learning more about your craft and the work that you're doing. So
Thank
that's
you.
good. So great. At Samayu, we emphasize the idea that what's good for our plate can also be good for the planet and all living beings. How does a whole food plant-based lifestyle encapsulate this philosophy and promote individual and collective well-being?
Okay. See, the simple thing is, there are, like, one approach could be that you inspire people uh, as vegan activist, or you are saying that don't kill animals. True. Now the other way which I follow is change your plate. Now how do I change my plate is like, if I am putting more greens, more vegetables, more fruits on my plate, that automatically transits to what I am avoiding, which means I'm not consuming non-veg, I'm not consuming egg, I'm also not consuming dairy, which also means I am decreasing the demand of these products, which means if I am following, my family starts following, one household at least is reducing the demand, which means one household is contributing more to towards this whole philosophy, reducing the burden of on animal production, or like animal this livelihood. And also we all know that because of the animal husbandry, how much forests are being if like they are demolished. So if I am changing my plate, I think I am contributing somewhere, because I might not directly go and tell the industries to stop, but I am one of those people who are reducing the demand of this. Now imagine the number of meals that I'm consuming, assuming 7 meals, sorry, 21 meals in us in 7 days of time. 21 meals are all plant based. That means I have reduced that much consumption. Over a period of time, if more and more people are becoming more conscious, at least the burden of removing all the forest to rear these animals would reduce. So a balance is what is needed. So that's how indirectly I am contributing to hold the whole of the process, while I'm serving the planet and I'm also saving the life of an animal.
Absolutely. Like you often say, a simple plate can save animals, the planet, and
Yeah.
humans, like you say, oftentimes. So yeah, that definitely works. So how do you address common misconceptions about plant-based diets, particularly in a South Asian context, where food is deeply tied to culture and taste?
Right, right. So, see, in fact, I was interviewed by Shraddha Sharma, and she asked almost the similar question, that most of us believe that plant-based diet is very expensive. Now, if you buy expensive products, which are like the fancy products coming from some other part of the globe, naturally, and highly processed food product, the cost of it would increase. The brand, if the brand is attached to it, naturally the cost would increase. But if you see our dal chawal, our sabzi roti, if you see the all the vegetables, all the fruits, when bought in from a vegetable vendor, it is not that expensive as compared to what you pick things from a supermarket, which is, a gourmet supermarket at a very high place, and they are serving good food but very expensive food. So first misconception is that plant-based food is very, very expensive. So that's a misconception. If you really want to eat absolutely sasta khana, then your dal chawal is completely plant-based. Now, when it comes to Indian context or the South Indian thing, rather, South Asian thing, what you are saying, most of the countries in South Asia are consuming coconut milk for their recipes. But if I only see our Indian, continent, the north is being heavy on dairy, and in south it's the curd rice, which is so difficult for people to leave. Now, for the curd rice, the simple thing is you can replace the dairy curd with the peanut curd. It has same taste. So when my clients come, I just tell that there is absolutely no taste difference. There is absolutely, you would love the taste of that same curd rice if you are eating this peanut curd. Now, if, for example, let's take another recipe. For example, how do I make, this kadhi, which is a very North Indian dish. Again, you can use peanut curd and it comes out very well. So there are alternatives available, and you can change. Now, what is the alternative of paneer? It's tofu. You can use that. What is the alternative of dairy milk? We have coconut milk, almond milk, cashew milk, ragi milk. So many variety of milks are there which you can use for different dishes that you're making. So this is how alternatives are now available. You can make them in your house as well, so you can start changing. It's, I think, the most important thing is our own mindset. See, every single morning, it's also the convenience. Every single morning you get a packet of milk lying on your doorstep, so you don't have to get into the trouble of milking a cow, so you feel it's so easy. Whereas you find extracting a coconut milk is so difficult because you are doing it. Imagine you would have to handle that cow. Okay, but now, if the brands are coming up, they are bringing you that convenience that they will give you coconut milk in a bottle, they will give you peanut curd, then it becomes easy. So, over a period of time, when vegan ventures would start, pushing the product, and we all start appreciating that, then it becomes easy. So, it's not expensive. Number one, alternatives are available. We just have to change the mindset to go towards it and to move in that direction.
Yes, that definitely is going to be a long term solution and would inspire people to embrace plant based diets. So I want to turn my attention to your entrepreneurial venture, the CookClean.com, right? So CookClean success is a testament to the potential of innovative plant based ventures. How do you see ventures like Cook Clean contributing to a broader food system transformation, which aligns with Samayu's vision for ethical and sustainable practices?
See, since our all products are vegan, it's plant based, anybody and everyone who is consuming is at least consuming one meal or one snack which is completely plant based, right? So, this is how we are contributing. For example, if somebody is non vegan or is somebody who is non vegetarian, just because the taste of our products are good and people are loving it, so they are, what are they doing? Most of the laddus that you find in the market have milk and dairy, of course, preservatives and chemicals. Ours do not have that. Now, when somebody is consuming or somebody is gifting, like Samayu and Cooklin has collaborated, you guys are gifting it to people. So now, when this happens, one snack at a time, one laddu at a time, at least one change is happening. Somebody is removing that dairy laddu from their plate and consuming Cooklin's laddu. So we are definitely making a small impact. We are making a small change in the mindset, because end of the day, as a consumer, you need convenience and you need price point and you need good taste. These are the three things that any product would shine. Now, if all the plant based brands can Give all these three things, I'm sure that it's easy for people to convert. The difficult part comes when it is difficult to make things. Now, if the brands like us start coming, we start talking about it, and we provide that same convenience, taste, and price point, then I'm sure it's easy to switch for people from being a non-vegan person to a vegan person.
Indeed, indeed. So I was wondering, what are some of the memorable moments or feedback you've received from your customers?
I think on my Insta and everywhere, I've got like really good feedback, and that too from people, from mothers mainly, because they trust Cook Clean as a brand. They trust us that we are doing lot of, we are not putting chemicals and preservatives, and they feel good when they give it to their kids. So that's the biggest testimony that I get. Of course, there have been a lot of interviews from different places, like houses like Times of India, Deccan Herald, Your Story. All of them have interviewed us, where again we were talking about that we are clean label. But the most happy thing for me is when a mother messages me that, my child loves your product. And there's somebody few days back messaged me in the group that I have to hide the almond butter because my daughter keeps licking that. So that's the satisfaction that as a founder I get, that okay, I, because you can't fake up with the kids. They will not speak to please you. What they like, they will just tell you on the face. So when the kids are liking our products, that is when we are successful, and mothers come back and buy our products. So I think that's the biggest testimony that I can remember, coming from others. If you search our Google reviews, also, I think everybody has given a genuine good review, which we have not pushed them to write, but they have given us the review that what they like about the product.
Yes, I'm very happy mothers and kids alike love your product and the work that you're doing. It's pretty awesome to get their approval. Yeah,
Yes,
you're right. So I'm very fascinated by the work that you've done with regards to the sessions that you've taken, right? So you've conducted over 100 sessions on well-being through positive food,
right.
including workplace nutrition workshops for Fortune 500 companies. So, how have these sessions impacted participants, and how do you see the growing organizational focus on employee wellness aligning with Samayu's emphasis on a just and fair world for all?
Hmm. So when it comes to organizations, I think still there is a little hesitation, because the mindset is still with well-being is connected to physical well-being, which is like your gym and yoga and your yoga and Zumba and Pilates, all that can be easily be done in the office premises. But and second, now because of COVID, a lot of emphasis was on mental well-being, but still companies are little hesitant to talk about food. Why? Because I think it's still not that mainstream, that organizations are still hesitant to talk about the food as an aspect, whereas the other two aspects are being talked about much more. But what when I have given these sessions, the beautiful part is that, like today morning only, I have received the feedback from from the session that I took one day back, day before yesterday, that people loved the session, number one, and they weren't aware that this much thought process has to go on the plate, because everybody just, if I have to become healthy, I have to hit the gym. That's the whole mindset. Whereas how much food is impacting, that nobody is thinking about it. So I think now the companies are thinking, which means the awareness is increasing. That is a good part, because companies need to start thinking in terms of that food plays such an important role on your day to day life. End of the day, you are eating three times, right? You will gym one time, maybe meditation one time in a day, but you're eating three times a day. Now, if you're making a mistake on your plate every time you eat, or if you think that, okay, one meal I will correct it, but rest of the meals it's okay. For example, how people go on a weight loss diet is, Okay, morning I will have chia seed water. Helps me lose weight, right? We are very ingredient specific, or we are very specific on macros and micros. I will just keep consuming my protein. I will reduce my carb. When all this is happening, what are you doing? You're just focusing on one thing. But you're not focusing on all the three meals. You're not becoming conscious about what you're eating. So when I take my sessions, I talk to people about that it's a journey. You have to put effort on every meal that you eat. Now, initially, it will be overwhelming that, oh, how can I do that? Agreed. But at least start. Maybe one meal for a month. Maybe after 2 months, you feel like, okay, I've fixed my breakfast. Can I fix my lunch? Then after that, can I fix my, dinner? This way, maybe for a period of 1 year of time, you will change. So now the companies have started letting me come in and talk about it, and not talk about big jargons, which is very difficult for people to understand. So I just simplify the plate. Just think food as food rather than macros and micros. Please don't drink your milk for calcium and eat ragi for calcium. Eat ragi for the taste of it. It will provide you 10 more benefits. So this kind of approach is now being picked up. Companies are talking about, but I think a lot more exposure is needed, and food needs to be talked about. Even what food is being served in the pantries of these offices, that has to be changed, because one session that I give, and ultimately you go and eat the same kind of food, it's not going to be effective. So the whole environment has to change. If the company is taking this kind of session, they also need to think that in team meetings they do not give pizza. And so that's the thought process has to change, that if the companies are talking about these sessions, at least start from your team meetings, that in team meetings make an effort of giving salad bowls to your people, or if you're giving a dessert, give a better dessert rather than giving coke and pizza. So, and then of course the pantry has to change. So the change has to happen at an organization level, because just by giving one session is not enough. We have to move in that direction.
Absolutely. It has to come at an organizational level.
Yes.
I was wondering if you can share an example of how one of your sessions led to a transformative change in an individual or a team.
Okay, so I give one session at Applied Material where we talked about all clean eating and everything, and then I supported them for 18 days to with their questions. Like, okay, whatever your questions are, for 18 days, I was on WhatsApp group with their all employees. They had a lot of questions, and the beautiful part, like you would have seen in my group also, is what I do is when people share the pictures of their food, I keep correcting them that, can you increase a little bit of more vegetable? So then people start seeing it. Like yesterday only, one of the girls said that, I was thinking that I'm lean and thin, so I can eat everything, because it's a misconception that, okay, if I am lean, that means I don't have any disease, I can just continue eating pizza and burger. Eventually you realize that weight is not the only parameter. Something can go wrong in your system. You need to check your habits, you need to check your system inside, and for that you don't have to rush every day for a lab checkup, right? If you are focusing on your habits correctly, everything else would be taken care of. Of course, a yearly or a 6 months checkup is recommended, and you should do that. But every day you need to focus on your habits. So that was one of the feedback that I got from that girl, that okay, till now I was thinking that I can eat everything under the sun, but because my metabolism is great and because I am lean and thin, but now I will start thinking about that. So my whole aim in all these sessions is let people think about it. The thought process has to start, so somewhere it has to start. And that's, I think, that's what I tell in all my 1 hour session, that if because of my speech you can take home one point, that okay, I will increase my hydration, or I will increase the greens, or I will at least look at my plate and not look at my mobile while I'm eating. That itself is a big change for me, and I've done my work.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. We need to make these minor changes in our lifestyle to live better, right? I also wanted to know what advice you would like to give to organizations looking to implement well being strategies centered around nutrition.
So I think, see, what the organizations have to think is body is one, it's whole. Now, just by doing a Zumba session in a year is not going to heal your employees. Also, just by doing one meditation session for the people once in a month or maybe once in a year. I know there are well-being months when they organize all these things in a because they have to do, so they do it. It should be a every month ka process. It should be a retention kind of model where every month we talk about it, because nothing is going to change in a day or in one session. So every month if we are talking about it, every day we come down to a day, then we come down to a meal. So if we when the companies are organizing these sessions or when they are organizing the complete well-being, you have to consider that employees are your asset, their health is your priority and not just the insurance company. So, to reduce that cost, you need to focus on what they are eating, number one, which is organizing these sessions, then organize a small potluck, then changing their pantry, changing what is being sold in the premises. Fine, there are a lot of big brands which are selling all the wrong kind of food, but at least give an opportunity to a small brand which is trying to sell good food. So, this is how the whole change has to happen. It's not just limited to one day or one session or just as a formality. Most of the time we just land up doing the formality. And the other thing is, when you talk about work life balance, trust me, it's not on presentations. Like on presentations we talk about work life balance, but in reality we push our employees to work late. We push them, okay, once in a while, yeah, I understand there's a pressure, but you cannot have a pressure on a human being throughout the year. You need to think about that also. Somebody talking about 70 days and 90 days, which has been so much opposed on LinkedIn and social media, it's a very wrong approach from the leaders. You are setting a wrong example, because if you say so, then the other companies will start saying the similar thing, because it's coming from a very high leadership, right? So now you said on national media something, and now everybody is talking about it, and eventually it will become a culture. So I see the world is dividing into two places. One place where people are becoming more sustainable, they are becoming more conscious, and then there is one place where people are just not considering that end of the day you are a human being and you have certain limitations and you want to do other things in life. So this is like two contradictory thing that I see nowadays, and we need to find a balance in that. So that's how the organizations have to think, and the leaders can't make comments like this that let's work for 90 hours. So yeah.
True. True. That's a lot of food for thought, Kirti. Very insightful. I wanted to know what's your advice to someone considering starting a wellness venture like Cook Clean?
If you're really passionate, you should start, because wellness venture is not going to attract VC funding on day one, like a tech company. Also, uh, yeah, it takes time, because you are in that there's a huge competition, there are so many players in the market. So only if you're passionate about it and you can run and you believe that you want to continue for a long time, then you should put in your foot in this thing. So for me, my why is very clear. Even if nothing works, I will still make laddus and granola for my daughter and for my family. So fine, my venture doesn't run, no issues. I will still continue making it for my family at least, and I will still continue eating clean food. So if that base is set so rooted and it's at like such a low level, and then from there nothing can go wrong. So if nothing works, then also my food will be on my plate, would be always clean. I'm not going to get into junk eating. So now my why is very clear, that this is Since I am eating clean food, I can educate people on clean food. Since I want good healthy snacks for my kid, I can give the same food to other mothers also, and to other people also. Then it keeps growing. Then more and more people, more and more organization come closer. They try to help me by getting into different places where I go and give the talk. Mothers come, they appreciate my product, they buy for themselves, and they give it to other people as a gifting thing. So that's how it's growing. So anyone who is interested to start a wellness thing, I think it has to come from your heart. It is not that one thing, okay, make quick money and become big and rise and then finally exit. You really have to be passionate about, and also you need to practice it. If I talk about clean eating and every day I'm eating wrong food, I actually carry my brand. People judge me every single time what I put on my plate. Remember, I was in IIM Bangalore and my professor came running from the other end just to see what am I eating. It was a party, and in the party, what else will you get? But I had like a full plate full of salad and then little bit of rice. Then he said, "Oh, I'm really proud of you that what you're preaching, you're also eating. That you are practicing." So somebody has to be passionate about if you are in wellness. Your own journey has to inspire that venture. Otherwise, it's easy to say, "Okay, I'm running a venture. Finally, make some money and go out," but your own consciousness will not allow you to go for a long run.
Right. So being passionate, being resilient, staying inspired are the key words here if one wants to start a venture like Cook Clean, right?
Yes.
So, Kirti, I would like to know what are some affordable ways to start transitioning to a plant-based diet.
Okay, let's start from affordability things. So let's start the simplest food. I think from past 2 days I'm also promoting that the simplest detox drink, nothing fancy, is your ashgot or your banana stem juice. Drink that. It doesn't cost you a bomb. Okay? That is helping you to detoxify your system instead of you buying those expensive detox waters or drinks or going to a spa. This is the simplest thing that you can do every single day, and which is very, very cost effective. Then the second thing comes is your fruits. If you can afford, switch to organic. If not, at least start eating fruits, right? Most of us don't eat fruits because they are preservative. Unfortunately, we don't realize how much pollution is in the air that we are inhaling every second. We have only screwed up that place also. We have polluted our whole environment, which is very unfortunate. But when it comes to food, people do ask about preservatives. Not that I'm saying that go and eat preservative wala food, but if your pocket can afford, buy organic. More and more demand of organic food would increase. Farmers would be producing that, and we will be reversing what we are facing now. So that is one thing. Now begin with the fruit. A watermelon would not cost you so much, or a banana would not cost you so much. Again, you don't have to buy a kiwi from New Zealand, which is expensive. You can buy a Nagpur orange also, which will provide you that same vitamin C. Or you have your capsicums, which are naturally growing here in India. All are greens. India has so many greens, so you don't have to eat a kale or Swiss chard and all these fancy things and rocket leaves. Fine, once in a while, if you can afford, go ahead, try that, because it's a new cuisine, it's new dish. Let's try it. But our drumsticks, so-called moringa, which is being sold now so expensive in other parts of the world, we get it at our backyard. We can grow it in our small pot also. Like, it will grow and you can just pluck. Otherwise, even the vegetable seller will give you moringa at a very sasta rate, right? That is another thing. Start eating greens, start eating fruits and vegetables. Now, unfortunately, few years back, our millets used to be so cheap. Over a period of time, we lost the value of millets, and now when they are coming back, they are becoming very expensive because farmers are not growing it. Maybe after 10 years, when we start growing millets at a very the yield increases, then the cost will come back down again, right? So this is how we have to start seeing. So instead of rice, we can eat these millets and increase the demand of that. That is not so expensive. Then you have all vegetable and fruits. So you would have seen that if you buy a cut vegetable and fruit in a packed paper, then that is more expensive. Yes, you have to put some effort to cut that vegetable and fruit, but that would be less expensive. So plant based diet, I think, is very, very affordable if you start seeing things which are close to mother nature rather than buying expensive. If you buy expensive plant based cheese, that's equally going to be expensive as the dairy cheese, right? We have all these gourmet cheese. Or if you're just sticking to almond milk from a big brand selling at a high cost, it would be expensive. Now, my question is, why do I need to drink almond milk rather than that? If I have to get 4 grams of protein, I will just soak my 8 almonds and eat it. So this is my approach. Rather than buying a canned almond milk, which might have certain preservatives, you can just eat your almonds, which will give you more nutrition than that milk. In that milk, what is it? It's just the almond, which is being grinded with a lot of water. So you eat the almonds, that's much better than drinking the almond milk. Okay, fine. Some dish or maybe coffee is something that you want to enjoy. That should be once in a while. So this is how we can change our whole thought process. I think more than the cost, it's the thought process. Once we start changing that, the second thing is the number of times you reduce to go to a hospital for the test, for the medicine bill that you pay would drastically reduce. By God's grace, it has been almost 8 9 years that I don't have any thing that I have to go to a doctor for curing that, except my yearly checkup, which says I'm perfectly fine. I don't have to get into a disease and then take medicines and then get my lab test done. So that way I'm reducing the cost there and investing the same cost into organic food. And also the pain and suffering that comes with the disease is another thing which nobody accounts for. So you make your choice.
True indeed. Let's turn to our grains and eat a lot of fruit and indigenous food, and that will be affordable,
I think
right?
few people have joined. If you guys have also questions, you can just put it and we can answer.
Yes. Audience, feel free to type them in the chat box and
Yeah.
I'll direct them to Kirti.
Any questions? I can see Manisha, Medha, you guys, Yashika, any questions? Anything you can ask me. Yes, Manisha, please go ahead.
Hi, Kirti.
Hi, Manisha.
So after that 7-day detox plan, um, that was a couple of months ago. It's been great actually. I really enjoyed it,
Thank
and
you.
so of course I told you that there were so many takeaways. I you know, but yeah, I mean slowly, a lot of improvements, and I've become more conscious of the food that I'm eating. Um, One thing that stayed with me for a while, because it had been on my mind, is going off of milk. So after that session, I was really keen to transition out of it, and to a large extent, actually, it's become so easy. Like I don't really feel like having milk or dairy products.
Hmm.
But I'm also concerned that scientifically, like what are the things I should take care of, because I'm not like conscious of like what is it that I'm missing out, and should I be compensating for that in some other way. So I wanted to ask you about that.
Okay. So the first thing is like, first of all, you're not missing out on anything. Let me just put it like that. So biggest concern right now, which the urban population is facing, is B12 and D. Now, D, vitamin D, these are the two things that are being talked about and all the nutritionists also, as well as doctors also, are taking these two things as a priority, because vitamin D is needed for, of course, your bone, along with the calcium, and then B12 is for your nerve function and all that, so DNA synthesis and everything. So these are the two major concerns which we are facing as a urban society. It has nothing to do with the vegan, non-vegan, or vegetarian. Even the non-vegetarian people are nowadays devoid of B12 for a simple reason that the amount of fermented food that we eat is less or absolutely zero. Also, we are eating a lot of junk and highly processed food. Also, our lifestyle is giving us a lot of stress, so our gut bacteria are almost dead. That's why the cases of IBS and all that is also increasing. So now first get checked how much is your B12. If it is low, you need to go on supplements, and then start consuming a lot of fermented food. So like you can make these beetroot kanji, or your this one, the when we make ambali, which is basically fermented gruel of millets, something like that, to start with, something to compensate. Then I have a lot of greens. When you're consuming a lot of greens, your gut bacteria is thriving, which will help you to generate this B12. So, what we are trying to do, one thing, if it is less, you need to eat supplement on a regular basis. Also, B12 supplement is what you can have, for a simple reason, because B12 or vitamin B is water soluble, so it doesn't stick in your body or doesn't remain. It flushes out. So we need to make sure that our B12 levels are taken care. Again, vitamin D, if it is low, please ask your doctor, and then only, take it. I will need 1 minute. My charger is almost going in. So
Sure,
1 minute.
sure.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry, I didn't realize that my charger will almost go. Okay. So yes. So this is what I was saying when it comes to B12 and vitamin D. Rest of the things, if you have calcium, or all the vegetables and fruits will provide. For example, calcium is there in ragi, it's there in sesame seeds, in fact more than the glass of milk. And this way you can start consuming. Focus on eating whole grains. Okay, this is not working. Yeah. So focus on eating whole grains, focus on eating greens, focus a lot of eating of fruits and vegetables, and all your things, and of course less stress, and more active lifestyle. Trust me, you will live a good life. So don't worry too much. Sometimes we overdo with the food, and we don't see other aspects of if my B12 levels are fine, do I still need to take supplements? Over a period of time, it starts decreasing. So get them checked if every 6 months possible. And usually on a safer side, I do take that, because thanks to the environment, there is hardly any source. So if it is fine every 6 months, get it checked. And if you see, if not 6 months, at least a year, and if it is low, then start taking the supplement. Now, food for arthritis
Mhm.
is that, see, why this is happening is because there's a lot of inflammation in your body. So you need to eat all that anti-inflammatory food which will reduce this whole inflammation. One of them is ashgore juice. Start with that. The second one is like you are eating this uh, either omega-3 supplements or omega-3 rich food, which is your flaxseed, your walnut, your chia seed. These also you have to include. Now, what is the other anti-inflammatory? Another food is all these berries, green leafy vegetables, nuts and seeds. When you're consuming things like this, it will start changing. Now that you already have that, you will be on medication for some time. But these kind of food, when you start including in your diet, they will reduce your inflammation, and it will help you to at least reduce the amount of pain. And over a period of time, exercise, like building up your muscle and Strengthening your bones is also very important. So you need to work in that direction. It will not happen like, reversal would not happen in a day's time. You need to slowly focus on that, which also includes not consuming junk, not consuming things like Coke, no smoking, no alcohol. All these are nothing but highly acidic, highly inflammatory thing. They increase the inflammation. What is inflammation? Basically, just in a simple terms, like when we get a fracture, our whole system, this hand or something swells up, correct? If you get a fracture here, what is that? That's a process of natural process of inflammation which is happening, where the body is trying to fight this situation. Now, because of the stress, because of the wrong food, because of all this, and thanks to even milk that we are consuming, which has pulled out, there's a whole logic behind how milk being so acidic pulls out all the calcium from your bones rather than helping you to deposit it in your uh, back into the bones. So now when you're facing these kind of situations, you need to be high on anti-inflammatory or non-acidic food or alkaline food. Even our grains are acidic, right? So, but normal people, we can eat grains. We don't, because we are trying to balance it with all the veggies. I don't have an arthritis problem, but somebody who has might have to reduce wheat and rice. You might have to go high on millets because these are seeds, and they are, one, they are gluten free, two, they are alkaline in nature. So that is how you need to start changing your food habits and reduce the amount of stress, reduce the amount of all the acidic food. Continue with your medicines, strengthen your bones, and that's when you will feel better and better and reduce your pain. So that's how you have to move in your life. Okay.
Yes, that's one way. Yeah, great way to manage arthritis. Any other questions from the audience? If you could type it in the chat box. Meanwhile, may I ask a question, Kirti?
Yes, please go ahead.
Kirti, how can parents encourage children to adopt healthier eating habits?
Parents have to adopt that. Kids will automatically follow. Simple answer. Parents don't adopt the healthier eating habits, and then they complain that the kids are not doing it. Simple. You do, the kids will imitate you. So if they see you eating ghia or lauki and taroi and all these vegetables, saying wow, it's so tasty like paneer, then the kids will also say. And this has to start from a very young age. So when you start introducing them to food and you start appreciating all the food that they, that is present, even the food that you don't like eating, but if it in front of your kids, you start appreciating that, they will think all of this is good and I need to eat. Over a period, by the age of 10, they develop, these are the foundation years. They develop these habits, because if you are trying to change after that, it becomes difficult. But maybe some time of transformation or change would happen. They would find their why. Like few kids I've seen, I have my intern right now, and 2 months back I saw him on a heavier side, and I just saw him 2 days back, and I asked, oh, what are you doing? So he's like, ma'am, I have quit sugar because I just want to gym and I want to build muscle. So sometimes their why comes on their own, but if parents want to inculcate, it has to start from a very young age. You need to love, and you need to imitate in front of them that everything is very nice and very tasty. They will automatically follow. So don't complain about the kids. I have no complaints. If I'm doing it wrong, then my daughter would do it wrong. And over a period of time, educate them.
Indeed. That's how it's going to work, right? Any questions, audience?
Any questions? Otherwise, we are like just 2 minutes left, 6 minutes left. So yeah, then we can begin. Hope the session was good. Hi, Sharmila. How are you? We are like almost nearing to the end of the session, but if you have any particular question, you can ask me.
Kindly
Keep
unmute
your-
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, first I would like to thank you for coming today. You articulate things so well.
Thank you
Thank
for taking
you.
time. And I had a fantastic time. And I just want to ask something. What would you say, like, with whom does does a lot of power rest when we talk about bringing about change? Would you say it rests with institutions or with individuals? Like, what would you the power to take action and bring about change when we are talking about in terms of reducing our animal agriculture practices and things like that, who would you say has the most onus? Does it lie with institutions, or does it lie with individuals who can bring more impact?
See, institutions have power to change because they impact the masses, right? So, for example, if suppose a big I think WeWorks few years back we heard that they don't allow non-vegetarian food in their pantry. For example, latest is Bangalore airport may for 26 days they have said that they will not serve chicken or something. That non-vegetarian part of it. Now imagine if a rule comes from an institution, everybody has to follow it, right? And it becomes a rule, and it's so easy to implement. Whereas when we are trying at an individual level, you are being bombarded with a lot of no's and aggression and lot of what is that? Lot of resistance. So individual has to face a lot of resistance. Like I have faced enough resistance from everywhere with whatever I am doing. I have my own doubts. So it becomes difficult. But when it's implemented from the institution level, it becomes easy. Eventually, the individuals have to buy in that whole philosophy because individuals only make the society. But when it is at a institution level, it becomes easy to implement. But end of the day, the execution part of it, carrying it forward, has to be done by the individual. So this is how I see it. Like if an organization says that from now we are doing this, the whole company starts following, and it has to result in an impact. If people start believing in those impact, then they start doing it, right? So this is how I see. So I think doing it at an institution level would make a lot of difference because it's much easier to do that rather than one individual fighting the whole system.
That makes a lot of sense.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
So if we have no questions, we'll wrap up the session.
Sure.
Audience, great. Thank you so much, Kirti. It was a super fantastic session.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And thank you, Kirti, especially Namrata, everybody, for organizing this session. And Kirti, for sharing your valuable insights and sharing illuminating information with us today. Thank you, Pearl, for handling the technicalities. And thank you, everybody who joined us. We
Thank
are
you.
leaving here
Thank
more informed and inspired to promote plant-based lifestyles. And thank you for your time and kind mentorship and for joining us. You have a great day ahead.
you. Thank you, Dr. Medha, for joining. And I hope you liked it. Thank you so much.
Really liked it. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.